Go right into Audit and Finance Committee. Melissa.
Good morning, members of the board. Good morning, Mr. Chairman. After 5 months ending August 31st, the authority's consolidated operating income before capital contributions and non-operating expenses is $2.3 million. Still trending similar to prior months. Operating revenues are 2% over budget, 10% over prior year, and 24% over fiscal year 23. The favorable budget and prior year variances continue to be associated with increased gas sales, primarily in Onondaga County, budgeted increases for the SU contracted service, and then contracted increases for the guaranteed minimum for our advertising revenue. Any questions on revenue? Overall, operating expenses continue to perform 11% under budget, 8% over prior year, which is approximately $2.4 million, and 4% over fiscal year 23, which is approximately $4.4 million. In a little more detail, the personnel expenses are 11% under budget and 8% over prior year. Personnel expenses are those expenses related with salaries and wages, and we budget these assuming that all positions will be fully filled and operating throughout the year, so that's why we're trending under budget, but over prior year. The prior year variance is really associated with the contract rate increases for the union contract and increases to the 401A match. Non-personnel expenses are 8% under budget and 10% over prior year. In regards to operating expenses being over prior year, they are performing as we anticipated. You know, costs go up, so most expense categories are either performing in line with budget or slightly under budget. We are seeing some savings in the fuel line and the risk management line. Risk management is associated with the timing of renewals of risk contracts, and the fuel is associated with the locking in of our CNG fuel rate, as well as just the timing of fuel deliveries. Any questions on the expenses? Non-operating revenue is operating 2% under budget, 5% over prior year, and 6% over fiscal year 23. The increase over operating assistance is associated with our solar increase that we received this year. The budget variance is associated with our federal assistance. That's based on, we draw that based on need. Investment revenue is also performing and continuing to perform favorable. Any questions on our non-operating revenue? Mortgage recording tax receipts total for the month of August was $739,000, which is pretty much in line where we were last August, which is nice. We are performing 1% better than prior year, or under prior year, 5% over budget and 28% under fiscal year 23. So we're starting to level out after that kind of boom
I
we
think
saw
what
during
would
the
be
pandemic.
interesting that we watch with the Fed, with the half
Yes.
interest rate, the 0.5% cut, if it's gonna impact us.
Yeah.
Interesting.
We hope it does.
Right.
Moving on to our investment reports, our unrestricted cash total is $19 million. That is an increase from what we saw last month, and that's primarily due to the receipt of our quarterly sale payment. Our board designated reserves uninvested is $4.1 million, with a total of uninvested cash of $23 million. In regards to investments, we have just over $5 million invested in operating funds, and then $14 million in board designated funds, with a total investment of $19.3 million. more questions in regards to investments?
Have you seen with the, on the other side now?
Yes, they are starting, the yields are starting to come down. They're still in the high fours, like 4.9, 4.8. So we're trying to be strategic, like I mentioned last month with the delivery of the buses. I think we have 7 now, Jeff? 9?
13 buses.
Okay. They're rolling in 1 or 2 a day. So as we're beginning to pay for those buses, we're going to be really conservative on how much we can reinvest, just so we are ensuring we have appropriate cash flow. And moving into our cash flow, we received $16.6 million in operating funds, with that $14 million coming from STOA and 18B match. We utilized for operations $8.2 million, so $8.2 million left in our pockets this month, and then with additional $1.6 million being received in capital reimbursements and operating expenses. Total reserves is $23.5 million, and our cash flow continues to be in a healthy position.
So this means, for operations, we don't have to borrow.
We do not have to borrow. Yes.
Yeah, and Tony, what else is nice is that those reserves are in a good place, they're in place. And on top of the operating,
It also saves us interest costs, so.
yeah.
Great.
Any additional questions? Okay, there's no other question. That concludes the audit, or not audit, finance, just the revenue and expenditures portion.
I have a motion to accept.
So moved.
Second. Nick?
Sure.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Okay. Moving on here to, Chris is gonna come up and talk about employee uniforms.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. And it's 3A, resolution 3A.
This resolution is for employee uniforms. This contract will be paid for using operating funds. The invitation for bid was publicly let on April 8th. 40 vendors were invited, 17 of which were minority and women-owned business enterprises. In total, 43 bid packages were downloaded. On May 6th, 3 bids were received, with the lowest responsible bidder being Gulls LLC. There is a full 30% MWB Eagle on this contract. Therefore, it is our recommendation that the board award the contract for employee uniforms to Gulls for a full 5-year term commencing November 1st.
Did we change from prior?
Yes.
Okay, I can't.
I know, it's extremely small. There's a lot on this contract.
Get the bomber jackets. See, they're only $33.96. That's a great price.
Uniform would be similar.
Yes, similar.
Okay, I'll have a motion. Dale, second. Julius, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Very good. Okay, Chris is gonna stay up here. This is a fun topic, pits and drain services.
Very fun. Thank you. This resolution is for pits and drain services across all of our locations. The contract will also be paid for using operating funds. The invitation for bid was publicly let on July 26th. 26 vendors were invited. In total, 13 bid packages were downloaded. On August 26th, 2 bids were received, with the lowest responsible bidder being Miller Environmental Group. There is a full MWBE waiver that was approved by New York State Empire Development on this contract. Therefore, it is our recommendation that the board award the contract for pits and drain services to Miller Environmental Group for a full 5-year term commencing November 1st.
Any questions for Chris? Numbers are in line. With that being said, motion to award contract to Miller Environmental Group for 5 years. May I have a motion? Okay. Luella, second. Joe, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Okay. Moving on. Caitlin is gonna talk to us about the NIDA Facility Consolidation Consultant. And it's resolution 3C.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, everyone. So as you said, this is the resolution for the United Facility Consolidation Consultant. This will be paid for with grant funds and 80-10-10 split between federal, state, and local funds. So this was a request for proposal that was publicly let on June 20th. 98 vendors were invited and 49 proposal packages were downloaded. We received 3 proposals on July 18th, and the evaluation committee determined that the most advantageous proposal came from Wendell. We do have their hourly rates as well as the hourly rates of their sub-consultants attached to this resolution. So we're looking for award for the United Facility Consolidation Consultant to Wendell.
This has been this has actually been a goal of mine since 2004. So I'm patient. This is where we have those, when it rains, get the boats out, get there. And we lease the property right now from Oneida County. Used to be $1, now it's $18,000 a year. Only for the last couple of years, we really went from $1 to 18. They wanted us to take the property, we're not interested. And eventually we have to land at a place for a facility to service Oneida County, which is basically Utica, Rome, and the townships that are also participating in this. So with that being said, may I have a motion? Luella, second. Monty, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Very good. And the next one is fire alarm system upgrade. Caitlin.
Yes, so our Regional Transportation Center, the RTC, we're looking to upgrade that fire panel. This is also paid for with grant funds and 80-10-10 split between federal, state, and local funds. So our current system is over 20 years old and needs to be replaced. So we're looking to place an order through the New York State contract with Siemens Industry for a total of $271,543.94.
Questions? Pretty standard. I have a motion. Julius, second. Neil, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Okay. Moving. Sure. We have a little add-ons here. It's resolution 3E. Authorizing Deputy Chief Executive Officer to enter into a grant agreement. Yeah, good
Good
morning.
morning. My apologies, I do not have the resolution numbers in front of me. Do you know which resolution this one is?
Yes, this is 3E.
We're getting some money.
Which money?
Which money?
Oh, I'm sorry. This is the,
It's the
this-
2 mil,
the 2,070,000.
Okay.
2,070,000.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, everybody. I promise I bring my A game when I get to the money. Not clearly this morning. So this resolution is for 5311 funding. This is for our rural properties, $2,070,192. And it's going to go to Auburn, Oswego, Oneida, and a route here in Onondaga. So this resolution will allow us to accept the funds and sign the agreement.
Okay. I don't think there's gonna be any questions here. I have a motion. Tony, second. Neil, any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
This is all second.
Moving into 3F. The 4,004,400.
Thank you. This is also a grant agreement with New York State. This is for the 10% state share of our 2024 grant, $4,412,675. And this is attachment 1 to the existing master agreement.
Motion. Luella, second. Monty, any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
So this, he needs an agreement every time we get the money.
Yes,
Every.
every.
Yeah,
So the
sign with blue ink
insurance-
and blood and everything.
Yes,
Yeah.
blue ink, and Mr. Chairman, I'll need you after the meeting.
Blue ink, right?
Always
Yeah,
blue,
sign
they
with
will
10
send
of
it
them.
back.
It's never easy.
Yeah.
Even the free stuff.
You want to say anything else?
I know, that's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Let's take a few minutes then.
Yes.
Take some control here, Mr. President.
Okay, folks, happy September, soon to be October. Beautiful day out. Good start to a great weekend. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Brad, why don't you lead us off?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have a quorum present. We have a presentation to one of our outstanding employees. Too many people retiring. I keep saying that. I've never seen this much in the last 2 years since I've been here. Clifford Wright joined the Central team on August 27, 1993. He's a part-time bus operator in Syracuse's facility. Then on June 27, 94, the opportunity presented itself, Clifford accepted a position as a full-time operator. Throughout his career with Central, Clifford consistently proved himself to be a valuable member of the Central operations team, respected by both management and his peers. Clifford was continuously referred to as a team player. Hard worker, reliable, professional, personable. Those are really good traits, really good traits. We need to pass that on to the next generations. Clifford could always be counted on to conduct himself in a professional manner, report to work as scheduled, and provide excellent service to Central's customers. He could also be relied upon to train and work with the new drivers, teaching them not only how to do their job, but how to conduct themselves in a professional manner and deliver a positive customer experience. Mentoring is so important these days, it really is. Effective September 1st, following a 31-year career with Central, Clifford's destination sign flipped to out of service for the final time as he traveled to his next destination, retirement. Clifford, we want to thank you for your many years of service and professionalism. We are proud to have you as a member of our operations team for the past 31 years. Congratulations on your retirement. Well deserved.
Y'all gonna make me cry.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Now we're in the middle here. Thank you, sir. How about my wife?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
She's the real boss. That's your right. That's your part.
31 years.
You got that list for him yet?
Here we go. Ready, 1, 2.
Very good.
Clifford, you have the stage.
You want a speech or something? A couple few words. When I came to Central, I said, baby, it's gonna be difficult. She said, well, don't say that. I said, anytime you have opportunity, you're gonna have opposition. You know, to some of the things you noted, some people don't go that way. To be kind, go the extra mile. So I was pushed aside. I wasn't one of everybody else, but I continued to do what was expected of me. I told my wife, when you sign an application for a job, you're signing a contract that you're giving them 40 hours, the best you can give them, and they giving you in the benefits, right? That's right.
So I tried to pull that. Central had a slogan or marquee saying, destination excellent. So why not be excellent? Okay? They said, what's the difference from ordinary to extraordinary? Just that little extra. So that was my mantra going through. Just a little extra.
Thank you.
We gotta take that.
Thank you guys.
Mr. Chairman, I want to say this about Tripp. I've been knowing this young man for a long time. He got called a young man because
I'm a young man.
I've been knowing this man for a long time, and when I get on his bus, his personality is the same all the time. And I've been knowing him for a long time, and I'm it's sorry to see you go, but it's a good thing. Just want to let you know you've been a great service to Central.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
Cliff, we have openings if you. Just saying.
I'm just looking for the food. You know we have schools around here too. Praise God. Have a good day, everybody.
Thank you.
Okay, those are nice, I tell you, it makes our job really nice when we have to recognize great people. Our next meeting date will be October 25th, audit and finance at 9, board meeting 9:30. I have a motion to approve the minutes from August 23rd. Neil, second. Tina, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Mr. Duff.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, members of the board. Been a busy month in certainly a couple more weeks of chaos, but we're getting through it, making progress, a lot of positive things happening. Still drawing down the COVID funds last month, just shy of $560,000 in drawdowns. Still remaining about $9 million left that we still expect to have drawn down completely by the end of this fiscal year. Some meetings and updates. We met with the mayor and his staff. The staff has brought forward some concerns with non-customers loitering around the hub. And, it's expressed some concerns from our drivers, our customer service, our supervisors, our managers, even our customers of, just trying to work through that process. So we contacted the city to have a conversation. We do have SPD that we contracted with Monday through Friday to assist us down there, but we're also looking to do redevelop that plan to have a broader net around the hub to continue to increase safety and get some assistance with making sure that the hub is safe for all members of the community and our employees. So we're working with Captain Conklin to put that plan together. So far, we're seeing progress. It's significantly gotten better, but there's still some room to grow. Interfaith Works, we had a meeting on September 6th. Steve Cagle, Lynette, Scott Wood, who is our operations, our travel trainer. So he goes out and works with individuals that request training, specialized training to ride our buses and understand our service. So Interfaith Works reached out. If some of you guys remember back in the 2010-11 era, we received a grant agreement to implement travel training, and part of that was working with Interfaith Works to help train refugees in the area and incoming refugees to ride our system, to get to work, get to appointments. In 2018, we received an award from Interfaith Works for our partnership. During COVID, that partnership was put on hold. And they reached back out on September 6th. We discussed reestablishing that and getting it back in service. So we actually have the next couple weeks our first travel training that we will do with them. So we're happy to have that program back in-house and on board.
Chris, is it one-on-one or classroom?
It's a combination. It could be a combination depending on the need. So
And are we language able?
Yeah, so we do have the program for language interpretation, but we're also working with their case managers. So they have their case managers that speak different languages, and they team up the refugees with the case manager that they can interpret for them. And we're also doing a program of train the trainer. So we're also going to do a full training class with the case managers. We did a tour with the new leadership of Interfaith Works here at the facility, and they've actually asked us November 1st to hold a tour for the case managers to show them truly what happens behind the scenes. So it's a combination of that. The open house, we scheduled our open house for the fall driver class on September 7th, and I actually have an update to the numbers here that I'll give you, but we did have 40 candidates come through the door. Very good quality candidates that we had come through to help prepare for our October 7th class that actually starts on Monday.
That's pretty high.
Yeah, We've had 70 or 80 candidates in the past, but, some of them came through, we had 70 and we only had a class of about 15, but in this case we had 40 and, we have a class of about 25. So we're seeing that proportionate ratio really pan out. So we did interviews on site, the test driving of the bus, which we've done in the past. We actually started hosting the CDL permit class that our instructors are teaching here the week after this. And we had 16 people sign up for that class of the 40 that came through. So that was very good and well received. So right now, an update from the time I wrote the report to where we are today, we have 16 people for Syracuse with a potential of one more. We should find out later today if she passed her permit test, which we're hopeful for. She was one of the 16 in the class that did our training class. So we're hopeful for 17 for Syracuse, 3 for Oswego, 3 for Utica, and 2 for Cayuga County. So we're excited to see that. This is, again, another good solid class and an increase. We were talking a couple weeks ago, Robin can correct me the number, but I think we are 12 operators to the positive side from where we were this time last year. So we were about 142, we're about 154. So with another 16, 17 candidates, with a majority of them going full time, we're trending back in the right direction to get to full staff. Clever Connect conference. So last week, Bruce, Josh, and Emily and I attended the Clever Connect. So Clever is our radio system, our CAD AVL system. So they're allowing us to track buses on the app. That's part of the communication. So we were down there for a conference, but I was also part of a spotlight session, so a general session to talk with the conference about our path to getting to zero emissions. So, where we were 3 years ago is applying for the grant applications, how we decided to go hydrogen over battery electric. It was a very good conversation. I was partnered with an individual that's doing trains and how they're transitioning their locomotives to battery electric. So it was a well-received discussion. It entered into great conversations after the conference, but it was a good opportunity to discuss our plan and get some feedback and share with others kind of the hurdles we've overcome and where we're going. Continuing on, certainly the various meetings that we continue to have, NIPTA membership, SMTC, one of the biggest ones and the new one here is Cortland County. So we're very active with the VPs and the leadership team, reaching out and getting to our departments to invest and do an assessment of what is needed to have Cortland County continue to successfully merge as of 4/1/25. So those meetings are going well. We actually just had one this morning, so they're very positive there. A few things to add that are not on my report. On September 10th, we hosted a ride-along with VIA, which is our software program for the Move on-demand service in Rome. They hosted a meeting or a ride-along with Assemblyman Magnarelli and the City of Rome Mayor Lanigan to just give them the behind-the-scenes tour of the service, how it's performing since March of 24 when we launched it, to share the positive, actually, that Brent updates you on every month, that we're seeing the positive trend in ridership increase, the frequency, the customers are happy with it. And then we gave them a ride-along as if they were customers, drove them around town, how the program works. So it was very well received and they appreciated the educational opportunity, as this is something we're seeing continue to grow throughout the state and across the country. And then one last thing to share is tomorrow we will be participating in Honor Flight again, which is something we've done. So this is mission 21 to continue to provide and honor our American veterans with transportation to Washington, D.C. to see the memorials down there for veterans from Korea, World War II, Vietnam, and we're proud to support that service every year.
I'm glad to hear you say about the rider program. This may be different than what I'm talking about, but every once in a while I ride the bus with the drivers, go through there, see what they go through and everything. It's amazing. Some of the things that the bus drivers have to go through. I do that once in a while. I don't do it as often as I used to do it, but no, it's a good thing. I think all of us should get a chance just to do that.
Absolutely. And we're working on some things with that internally right now. Joe Calabrese here used to have a program that him and I had a good conversation on a few weeks ago about the Customer First program, but really looking at getting the admin staff to go out and ride the buses and see firsthand. We do the procurements, we do the decisions and conversations, but to see what the drivers have and also get to know the drivers. So to kind of break that wall of communication. So yeah, we're working on something on that as we speak.
Chris,
Go ahead.
is Cortland use VIA?
So Cortland does not use VIA right now. And part of the conversation, they would like to see an on-demand service extend down there. So that is the things we'll look at and evaluate as we take over in future service updates.
Chris, what's the paratransit like in Cortland? Non-existent?
Yeah, it's minimal. They do have a dial-a-ride program. It's not as robust as ours. I think just in the service area and
So we'll be bringing them a better.
I think in the long run it'll be a more robust system. Yeah, technology-based opportunities.
People are asking me as they hear about it, does that mean we're going to get better paratransit down here? I said, if I have anything to say.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna get better service down there from my discussions. I mean, we do it right here. We do it right. And, I think we'll definitely have a better service for the constituency.
Are any of the schools involved?
As far as like SUNY Cortland and TC3, so with Cortland County, they have touched base with both of those colleges. I know SUNY Cortland right now runs their own system in-house, but they have expressed interest to Cortland County that they would like to have a conversation with us down the road to maybe us taking over that service.
Do they work with Ithaca too?
They do connect with Ithaca to connect with TCAT service down in Ithaca. It's not as, I think it's like a trip in the morning and the afternoon, Steve. Yeah, so I think it transports a couple individuals back and forth, but I don't know what it does for workers. Those are some of the evaluations we'll be doing in the next couple weeks.
Hey, Chris, with the VIA program, the ride, but, so that program you say gonna be expand?
Yep. So we're evaluating where the next move will arrive. We're having those conversations internally to figure out what is the best spot and how that would look and what it means for service. There's some things we have to evaluate for that, but we're seeing the success in Rome, and we want to make sure that we have good solid data. The one thing unique is now Mohawk Valley Community College, now that they've started up since we've launched the system, we really want to evaluate and get a good solid database to make sure we've evaluated it on all the measures, because the summer the students weren't necessarily there. So
that's a contract we have with you, right?
So we have a contract with VIA for their system, for their software, but everything else is done by our operators, our mechanics. That's our buses. We just contract with them for the software.
How about VO?
It's possible too. They've expressed that as well. As far as bike and scooter share providing different opportunities. So when their RFP went out, the last RFP that they didn't follow through with, that really kind of put them into the situation of accepting it and paying a higher cost or coming to the authority, included on-demand and bike and scooter share. So they were happy to hear that we have those services already. We have a contract that it's something we can bring to Cortland as well.
Seems like a good market for it.
Yeah, with the students and things down there, yeah. Any other questions on my report?
I will be going down to Cortland with Chris, addressing the legislature, just to welcome them. My last meeting with them was more of when they were thinking about joining, but on behalf of the board, I want to welcome them officially.
Any other questions on my report from there? I will turn it over to Steve.
Thank you, Chris. Good morning, Chairman. Good morning, members of the board. I'm going to dovetail nicely into the conversation we're just having kind of about ridership and service and whatnot. Ridership numbers for the month of August, again, we continue to grow steadily. There was one fewer weekday this year compared to last year, but even so, ridership was up about 5%. The leader continues to be the folks in Utica and Rome. Utica service was up about 20% over last year. It's a very significant number. Ridership in Rome was up 10%. It's interesting when you look at what we did in Rome with the system redesign. We took 6 routes and we shrunk them to 3. We increased the frequency on the 3 very successful, the 3 routes that were performing well. Now the ridership on those 3 routes is exceeding the ridership of the previous 6. So, if you provide more frequent service, you schedule, it's easier to understand. it really results in people being able to trust the service, rely on it, use it more often, and feel comfortable that now they can depend on the service. So I thought, that's really important as we look at what we might do in other systems and how we go into a system redesign here in Syracuse. Is that philosophy is tried and true, and it'll be something that we probably look at when we're looking to redo other systems within the communities we serve. So ridership continues to be strong. State Fair ridership, we touched on it a little bit last month. Saw a lot more usage of our park and rides, due mainly because I think the cost of parking went up at the state fairgrounds. So we became more of a bargain than we were previously when parking was relatively cheap. We had about a 16% increase in our services to the New York State Fair, which was a good strong showing for us. Less usage up from the Orange Light Shuttle services that we did, but again, I think fewer people were parking up there. It's also a very walkable. It's a walkable lot now where people can easily walk after they park their car, take strollers, everything's paid, and that's been the case for the last few years. So nothing really surprising. We had a good year at the State Fair. There's some things we want to look at from fare collection situation that we want to maybe address for the next year, but I think going forward we're in very good shape with the New York State Fair.
Steve, rain have anything to do with some of the down days?
I think that really the State Fair has become a concert draw. Is what it really becomes a concert venue almost, and I think that the concert lineup this year was not as strong as it had been in the past. I think that affected their non-weekend days. The weekends are always the weekends. They're going to have good, strong attendance. The weather was bad on one Saturday, poured, and I think you couldn't really catch up for that the rest of the Labor Day weekend. So I think that certainly affected it.
I waited for the show in the rain.
And Steve, before you continue on, I want to thank the union folks on behalf of operations. I don't want to speak for Ron, I know, but they come and do this above and beyond, from the maintenance staff, the operators, the service or cleaners. This is all things that happen above and beyond their regular schedule. Some people are on vacation and day off work to come in and to help support this service. So certainly I want to thank our union members and make sure our union staff is aware, that we appreciate the work they put in and thank them for their hard work. Every year we come do this, it's 13 days, we know it's coming. And year after year, they step up to continue to support this for our community, and that's what we're here for. So thank you guys.
How many drivers are we down
About 30. We're about 40. We've trended around 40, give or take, for the last 3 years.
So
and
a
I was already
lot of drivers have to do overtime.
Step up into overtime. So it all comes back around. The more drivers, the better off we are for a lot of our services.
Yeah, and certainly, we've had supervisors driving, the management staff that's out there to drive buses.
7th, we are going to know in rural service in Oneida County. This is something that is new to us. We'll commence on October 7th. It'll run 6 round trips per day, running from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Fare will be $3, like our other commuter services that connect Auburn and Oswego with Syracuse. It's brand new service. It's something that has been operated before in Oneida County, but we are now becoming the new operator of this service. Thanks in part to some discussions we've had with folks in Oneida County. The Herkimer Oneida County Transportation System out there has kind of been managing this to a degree. It's been private. It's been operated by another bus company previously. This is something new to us. Chris, you want to talk a little bit more about how this kind of came about?
Yeah, so the service was originally run by another provider that was bought out of state, and the service was not very reliable for the rural counties or communities in Oneida County. So the Hawks team, the Herkimer Oneida County Transit Council, reached out to us to say, can you take over this service? And it coincided right about the time COVID happened. So they suspended the service, and then we've been working through the process of getting the service back up and running, working with DOT to get funds that are allocated to this service assigned over to us and transferred to us to really get it off the ground, purchase buses, putting new buses in service for this. So it's been a few years in the works. We're both been all excited to get this off the ground. The county executive's office is excited to see this finally coming back and truly connecting those major employment centers, Turning Stone Casino, Marcy Penn, connecting Mohawk Valley Community College in Rome and Utica campuses is something we've had requests for years. And now we're finally able to put a service in play that doesn't overstep another vendor. It's our service now, and we can make those connections for the students and the faculty.
This is really big for Oneida County. And I think there's a lot of senior citizens that sometimes enjoy their day up at the Turning Stone. So it's gonna really service. It's gonna service a number of different groups, which is really good because, it is two cities sometimes, and it's divided. This is gonna be nice.
Since you providing that, so where's the fund coming from for that part?
You want to answer?
Yeah, so, we will be funded, with some of our operating expenses being covered through 5311 operating assistance from New York State. And then operations, farebox revenue, normal operations, just like here.
So we will receive additional funds that was going directly to the vendor through the county to this service. So that's part of the back and forth. We had to get the funds deobligated from them, and then we become direct recipients of those funds. So it'll be part of that regular STOA line process that we receive money to cover it. And, we were diligent to make sure that we weren't operating this at a loss. We wanted to make sure that that's where we're starting. The previous provider did have additional routes that were extended throughout Oneida County. But, as we start this up, this is one key route that the county wanted to see happen, the community wanted to see happen. So we're going to start there and then evaluate as things progress, how the ridership increases, the other needs in the county that we may be able to serve as ridership and revenues may increase in that route.
Yeah, this service will have all the bells and whistles that we currently have. You're going to be able to buy your bus passes on the vehicle through the farebox. The system will be on our mobile app and our trip planner. This is new for those individuals who are using World Service in United County. That was not the case before.
Well, we have the service for Syracuse. Syracuse did.
No, right now, no.
Because that's my future retirement. Transportation.
Steve, what time does it start in the morning?
6 a.m.
to
6 p.m. 6 a.m. is the first departure from the Utica hub. 6 p.m. is the last arrival at the Utica hub. So it's right at 6 a.m. to 6 p.m.
So you get your first stop at 6:15, 6:20?
Yeah, we're gonna leave the hub at 6 o'clock. We'll get to Marcy Correctional Facility about 6:15. Then get to Rome about 6:30. Then we'll be at Turning Stone by 7:15ish. Then reverse it. Yeah.
We'll get stolen money for that, right?
Yes. Yes. We can stay
24 hours a day.
No.
So you go there at 7 at night and then you get the bus back home.
I'll say that we've had some.
I gotta say $1.
Three. Make sure you got $3 to give them.
Yeah, we've had one employer that has bugged me almost monthly to find out when that service was starting because they need the service to get employees to their location. And they're very happy. They're more than willing to support us as we kick it off, roll it off as well.
5 days a week?
I think it's 6, Monday through Saturday.
Yes. No Sunday.
There's no service in Oneida County at all on Sunday.
Sunday, right. So we need to be consistent there. In your packet, we also provided you with a summary of all the comments, the public comments for our Route 84 service modifications that have been in play for the past year or so. As I spoke to you last month, we took the initiative to change that route effective a couple weeks ago. I can't remember the exact date, it was Monday. So it now serves not only the airport, but also the Malden-Malloy Florida Road Corridor. We were able to do that. We received some very positive feedback from the individuals who live in that area, very happy to see us return it. So the public comment, there's a summary that we provided to you. You can read through it a lot, I understand, but it just gives you an idea of the kind of the kind of feedback that we get from our customers we take seriously and we listen to. And in this case, we were able to kind of reach I wouldn't say a compromise, but able to return service back to that location. Next month, you will receive a new full equity analysis that we must do because we've returned service to this location. And you'll also see a resolution where, the board will have the opportunity to adopt this as the permanent route structure going forward for that particular route. And I would recommend that we do so as we're able to, serve, other constituents that need to get to the airport and also those that live in the Florida, Lloyd and Malton Road area.
This may not be part of your report, but you got new buses, right?
We do have new buses. I'm not gonna steal anybody's thunder. so-
Stealing Jeff's thunder.
That discussion will happen shortly.
So Steve, thanks for bringing this up. I think if you read through the comments, you really do see the struggle that pops up when you try and redesign some of these things. I think there are some candid comments of like, the bus used to pick me up at my front door, but we can't be at everyone's front door. And I think the service changes here are great. I think they're emblematic of some of the changes that we can do and still serve the community, but also do some new stuff as well. Because I think you heard it from the airport authority as well. They're over the moon essentially, and maybe they'll take a look at the agreement that the city has with Central.
There are
enter into a similar agreement for their staff to make it frictionless.
we have I have about 4 or 5 other employers who are on deck to implement a similar program that the city has. We are just waiting for some additional farebox technology to make that transition, make that happen. We're very close. That will happen soon. And to kind of dovetail into that, right now we're seeing about 12% of our riders are using either mobile ticketing, your cell phones, or tap-to-pay credit cards, which is important because these are individuals.
What's the percentage?
About 12% of our ridership. Of those people we expect to pay a fare when they get on the bus, 12% are using either their mobile phone or their credit card. That means we're not counting those dollar bills in the revenue collection. We're not putting stress on the fare box by having it's called a trim unit that reads the magnetic swipes. So that type of stuff, these are monies that go directly deposited into our account. It's very quick and easy. The more individuals that we can get to use these systems, the more efficient we become, the less breakdowns we'll have from a mechanical standpoint. Everything becomes easier, and that's kind of the trend in transit overall across the country. So we're very excited that this is catching fire a little bit. So it's good. Any other questions for me? Well, thank you.
Thanks, Steve. Jeff.
Thanks, Chris. Board Chair, members of the board. Here to talk about some buses.
Yeah.
Yes, they have been arriving. We have about 10 30-footers and 3 35-foots, and 4 of them are in service yet. The one that's out there is a 35-foot, and those are all for Utica. Unfortunately, we've had some issues bringing them on board, getting them through. We've had some MIL lights, which is a malfunction light on the dash. It's not a big issue, but it tells us what's going on. And one of the issues, just for example, is at DEF, which is diesel exhaust fluid, had a low pressure. So Gillick sent out representatives here to help us get these on board and get out as quickly as possible. They're coming up with solutions, and my team meets every day to go everything to see what's going on. And if they find an issue here on a bus, they can communicate back to California on what the issue is, and they can correct it there, which is nice. So
That's where the bus comes from, California.
buses are coming from California. Yes. So that's what's going on. And I talked to the lead PDI post-delivery inspection, and he said that he thinks he can have all the buses here and on the road by mid-January. It's 64 CNGs here, 19 diesels for Utica. Utica's going to have their buses here first. The CNG will be sent here and will be in service as quickly as possible. Yeah, because they're really slowly coming in.
Yeah. No, that's pretty quick though.
Right, for all those buses, yeah.
Jeff, how do you then, what's the process when you scrap all those other buses out?
Well, the process is we have to put them up for sales. We have to put them for 3 weeks on public surplus. And if nobody buys it, then we can drain the tanks, drain all the fluids, and then take it over to a scrap metal brand like Metallica or Whitesmith.
Just for fun, the cost of these vehicles right now in a 40-foot CNG is about $640,000. Jeff, what's the scrap value of these 2012s right now?
Scrap value is about $2,500 to $3,000. That's the metal.
And what's the diesel scrap?
It's about the same.
I mean, not scrap, and what's the new price for the diesel?
Was it 500?
I think it's about 540.
540.
Like something, yeah.
Yeah.
The other one's
640 for a CFG.
No, that's a purchase.
Put it on the auction.
Yeah,
They're on the auction.
Yeah, we put it up for auction.
If you want for auction.
Most
What are they
people
going
won't
for at the auction?
But if,
About 2,500 to
Yeah.
a little less than that. We try to get at least the scrap value. We will take a little less than scrap value because it just is easier for someone to take it away.
So just a crazy question. Is there something that prevents like an entity like a school district to buy some?
No.
It's on the website if you wanted to purchase them.
They might be a
I'm
little.
thinking field trip. I'm thinking field trip type stuff, not like, you know.
Retirement home?
you can outfit, then you can make that trip back and forth.
I can't see that far.
You know, but when you take that, when you take that down for 12-year lifespan, it's about 55,000 a year, which does not seem unreasonable for something like that type of equipment.
Well, I'm more thinking like our field trip stuff is like, those buses are very nicer than the school buses.
Yeah.
I'm listed on public surplus right now.
They're used to buses, not CNG.
So as you guys arrive, you'll see some of the buses are parked across the street in JMA for that reason. We have a agreement to use that property before they tear it down to help with the overflow of buses coming in and out.
Yeah, I spoke to Amy and she indicated that he was doing that.
So, looking ahead for the Cortland piece, how many buses do you think you're gonna be ordering, or we're gonna be ordering?
So Cortland right now has their own buses. So Cortland County owns the 23 buses that are being operated in Cortland County now. Transdev is operating them, but at the end of the contract, they become Cortland County assets. They're still Cortland County assets. So working with Brad, we will have an agreement that they will transfer those buses to us. Depending on the style of bus, they're a 5, 7, 10-year use life. They do have some brand new buses down there that they just purchased. And
You
so
gotta paint them and you gotta.
that's part of the evaluation that Jeff and his team will look at to brand them like Centro. So we'll go through that process of what it would take to do that. Yeah, to figure out what is the most cost-effective way to do it, knowing that some of these buses will probably be out of service in the next couple of years, and then some of them will have to keep on for another 5 to 7. So
Over a period of time, just like United County when we took over, they were UTA, then all of a sudden Central. It just happens.
so
How different are the buses in Central Bus?
in Centro from Cortland.
You know, are the same similar bus that Central has?
Down there.
Yeah.
So they're smaller vehicles. They're very similar to the call buses we operate, the cutaway style buses we call it. But they don't have any low floor buses. So they do get up to 27 and 30-foot buses, but they look like larger cutaways back to the old Internationals. You remember, Tina? So they're all that style. They're all stairs when you walk on. So, part of the further evaluation would be as we replace these vehicles and looking at the capital plan, where do we transition to a low floor, which is certainly better for mobility devices and just the average customer walking on a curb bike rather than climbing 3 stairs every time they board the bus. If you guys recall back to the 90s and the 2000s, the stairs, then we went to the low floors. That's part of the evaluation.
Those stairs can sometimes be an accident waiting to happen.
Correct. I'm sure Joe can speak to a lot of those stories, or either Joe DeGray or Calabrese.
So it takes a year to get a bus, right?
18 months.
18 months. And some of the things right now, we've talked about it in the past, there's only 2 bus manufacturers for transit buses in the US right now. Everybody else has either gone out of business, readjusted their plan. Nova Bus that was up in Plattsburgh north of us is pulled out of the US market. They're still producing buses in Canada, but not US. Eldorado redid their business model. They're no longer providing buses. So Proterra went bankrupt. So we're down to New Flyer and Gillig in the US right now. There's a potential third, I'm hearing rumors of a third manufacturer coming out of Europe, but they're not here yet.
You got some critical decisions around Cortland and buses and cost, style, and keep.
Yep. Jeff and his team, we meeting this morning, they'll go down, they'll start looking at that, what is the best way to go, and then working with the finance team. You know, and we're already having conversations with our NIPTA team and our legislators to talk about what it would take for us to take over Cortland County and provide more robust service than what they have today. You know, they have no bus stops throughout the entire county. They're all flag stops. You know, they have 9 shelters. So there's things that, you know, in order to get up to Centro's operations, you know.
We had a member item back in '04 with the state.
Yeah.
And that was for upgrades of not only the buses, but the facility.
Yeah.
Because it was not in a good place, so hopefully maybe, you know, we do a state delegation to be able to get that, because that really helped us to get us to that point, like you said, up there.
How about fuel? So I assume all their buses are diesel. We have existing contracts. Would that cover those operations? Would we have to do something different?
I believe they're using fuel cards. I don't think they have.
Yeah,
fuel
they don't have a fueling
and
station on site.
only a couple of them are diesel. Most of them are gasoline.
Oh, the
Really?
cutaways.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the smaller ones. The bigger ones are using diesel.
But they're, from what we understand, they're going to a local fueling station and using probably like a fleet card to fill them up.
Not a county station?
I don't believe so, because it's operated through Transdev is operating the system right now as their third party operator, so I don't think they would have access to the county.
I wonder what the school districts do.
Yeah, that I don't know.
You had spoken about electrical bus, that's way in the future right now.
So the hydrogen fuel cell buses, so we received the grants this year, and looking at the funding, we received the CMAQ and a Low-No grant. We're in the process. Next month, we will be coming to the board with some information on that, hopefully, to purchase 5 hydrogen fuel cell vehicles. We're looking at a potential timeline of the first one showing up October of 2026, with the remaining 4 coming in August of 2027. So those are preliminary numbers right now, but that's timeline we're looking. Next week, we will be out in Gillig, who's manufacturing our buses. Our buses will be online. When we're at the conference, we're going to take a trip up to see our buses online. They would also meet with their engineer on their hydrogen technology to learn more about it and continue our transition. But those 5 buses will be the first to really test it in our market. You know, does it meet SU demand? Does it meet state fair demand? And we get the range out of it. They're promising, unlike the battery electric buses where we see they're not performing at that standard.
So we have a bus outside for everybody to see if you want to come down after the meeting. I want to discuss some of the projects we have going on. The the asphalt is all complete. Door 1 and door 2 had concrete needed to cure. It opened up this Monday. It's nice and smooth and looks really great out there. I know the drivers complain about it when you come through door 1. It's very bumpy. It's good in the wintertime. It breaks off the snow. Maintenance offices are underway. They've already broken ground over there and are starting to work. We're anticipating probably 30 days, maybe a little longer, if there's any hiccups come along the way, for that to be completed. We have a diesel dispenser at the Regional Transportation Center, just got installed. The old one was from 1997. It needed to be replaced since we own the property and we maintain it. It's an intermodal station. We've got Greyhound trailways that have to fuel the vehicles there. We put that in there and it should be complete today from what I'm hearing. And lastly is the ultrasonic cleaner. It has been installed and we're getting training, I believe it's next week, so it should be operational. And that's all I have for today.
How's the barrier doors installation going on in the buses?
It's going well. I just saw one this morning. We were looking at tweaking some stuff, talking to Jody, and he gave some options. So I know he was going to go back down there this morning and talk to him.
And I think
There's one down there?
Yep, it's got a
as I
door.
say, this bus down here does have one of the new doors. So as some of the features you guys are seeing as part of the future of Centro. You know, last month we approved the new mission, established the vision and the new values. In continuation with that, with the bus design, the new color and paint scheme, making sure that we're using the new logo, the wing logo on the buses, so you'll see that, but also on the interior, to Frank's point and Jeff's conversation. We've also swapped out and put a new driver barrier door in that we brought in and tested and did some different models, and found that this one is the best one for space and comfort. Not to call attention, but Jimmy, one of our operators behind you, Was one of our key people in testing this to make sure that, it's comfortable and fits somebody to his stature, but also somebody smaller. So the new driver barrier door does give additional protections to the driver. It's more robust, it's a little sturdier, it looks a little more than just the plexiglass shield that we've had since 2016.
In addition to the plexiglass, it's got UV protection and you can actually anti-glare, so you can see through it and see through to the mirror, which is nice.
Which is some of the components we were adamant on trying to find a better shield that helps protect that. So we're not seeing a glare, or they're not getting something as false headlights and reflected there. And then there's some other technology upgrades. They all have easy assist, electronic easy steer. So it's not the big cranking wheel anymore. It's a smaller wheel, about a little bit bigger than your car. And then some other components that we've upgraded to be more electronic with air as far as opening the doors rather than the old lever. So a lot of positive things there, and working with the drivers and the mechanics to really find a bus that fits and checks all the boxes of comfort, changing things that we can change and things like that. So.
One other thing, because the advertising on the bus, whose responsibility to have that put on the car? Is it people who are advertising?
So we have a 5-year contract with Lamar Transit Advertising. So they do they sell the space, they shop it. So Nicole is our sales rep for that. So she takes care of all of that. They design the artwork with the vendor, or with the purchaser of the space to create whatever it is, whether it's Upstate Hospital or any other business that wants to advertise. There are requirements and certain things that can be advertised on buses and can't be, but they'll work through Steve's department on that. But Lamar Transit Advertising handles all of that and does the installs.
It would be great if we didn't wrap the windows. I know there's a dollar value to be made there, but I think it degrades the user experience a little bit when we wrap the windows.
Okay. Take note of that for sure.
Any other questions?
I'm done.
And certainly, as you guys see in front of you, with the transition of the new bus color, we have themed and done things here in the boardroom, and then certainly the cups. We have done a road show to launch the new bus and showcase it at all properties with the new mission, vision, values. So in front of you is yours to take with you after the meeting. And Mr. Chairman, that concludes our report.
Okay, great. That was good. Good discussion. You learned a lot. Okay, audit and finance, everything was discussed in committee. So we'll go through this. Melissa gave us a great presentation on our revenues and expenditures. Fiscally, they seem to be healthy from the expense side, healthy from the revenue side, healthy from the investment side, healthy from the reserve side, healthy. With that being said, a motion made and ready to the full board for approval. I have a motion. So Leo, second. Tony, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Chris brought up the employee uniforms. Went through the proper bidding and procurement process. Based on the evaluation of bid documents, staff recommends contract award to Galls LLC for a 5-year term commencing November 1st. May I have a motion? Julia, second. Monty, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Chris also brought up the contract for pits and drains. That's resolution number 3B. Based on the evaluation, staff recommends contract award to Miller Environmental Group for a 5-year term commencing November 1st. May I have a motion? Luella, second. Monty, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Okay. Oneida Facility Consolidation Consultant, Caitlin, went through this with her. Seemed to vet a lot of interested contractors. After the proposals were evaluated, they recommended a contract with Wendell, the United County Consolidation Consultant contract. My motion. Luella, second. Tony, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. A little nervous there for a minute. We started. I don't got 20 years left in you guys. All right. Caitlin also brought up about a tired fire alarm system at the transportation center. and recommended that, Siemens be awarded the contract $271,000 plus for the Regional Transportation Center for fire panel upgrade. May I have a motion? Tony, second. Julius, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion was also brought forward. Tara, regarding authorizing that Deputy Chief Executive Officer enter into a grant agreement, basically accept the money from New York State Department of Transportation. The first one was in the amount of 3E, 2 million, a little bit over 2 million. May I have a motion? Luella, second. Tina, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. And also, she also brought us another one here, resolution 3F, in the amount of 4.4 million. May I have a motion? Neil, second. Tina, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Chris, any old business?
No, sir.
Future business?
No, sir.
The board, any old or future? Julius, you gotta say something, come on.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, this is the future information that, coming up on October the 4th, there's gonna be a resolution signed by the mayor for, what, at the time, October the 4th, 1864, a little older than me, you know, he's gonna be, the mayor will be reading a proclamation, something like that, on at 11:30 down at Columbus Circle, celebrating 160 years. I sent each one of you guys, I think I sent each one of you guys a copy with them. But it's gonna be on October the 4th, at 11:30 down at Carrier, not Carrier Circle, Columbus Circle, right there. Anybody can participate, put my teeth in, participate in this. Yeah.
Anybody else? Tony?
Just quickly, I just wanted to know, did we ever update the staff on where we are in the process of the search? Like, did we ever say to folks, we've hired a firm, here's where we are, next steps? Did we ever do that?
No, but thank you. I'll have
We probably should
I'll
do
get a
that.
communication out. We'll get one out today.
Yeah,
We'll get one
Jackie's
out
been
today.
on vacation, but.
Yeah, I'll get that out today. So the firm, as everybody knows, the firm has been hired, okay?
Everyone doesn't know.
Okay,
If you
you
don't.
didn't know. Firm has been hired, thanks, Tony.
Yep.
And, the process will begin. And,
The position has been posted on their site, it's on our site.
and the firm we went with is,
Specializes.
they special, okay, we just didn't get a firm that just does. We got a good one here. Okay, go Bills.
Yeah.